So Minecraft just released a new snapshot, and the first things that it says in the patch notes is that armadillos now roll up when a player attacks them, which also allows them to fully resist weak attacks. If I do this command, you can see that it's at 8.1, and if I do it again, it's still at 8.1. It doesn't take any damage when you punch it, right? Even though it kind of looks like it. Cool feature, right? So we're on 1.20.1. This is on a mod that I've been working on that updates the end I mentioned, and this is a mob from that mod, and it's called the Ploppier. What you'll notice is that when you punch it, it puffs up and it resists my attacks. Okay, funny coincidence, right? Well, I do actually have one suggestion for the armadillo, which is you can see that when I punch the Ploppier, it doesn't actually look like it takes damage. So I think that'd be nice to have for the armadillo as well, so it doesn't actually look like it's taking damage. But I'm not here to talk about this funny coincidence. I'm actually here to talk about the other thing that armadillos do, which is their only use for now, the wolf armor. There's a lot of criticism that's been pointed towards this feature about how it's the only use of the armadillo scutes and how we could have used turtle scutes instead to craft it. But I want to talk about something else about the wolf armor, which is its effectiveness. And does it work? Not really. I think the point of wolf armor in a gameplay sense, in my opinion, is that of players wanting to actually go out and explore the world, you know, with their pets, right? With their wolf. Can you follow me, buddy? Because usually dogs kind of just sit in players' bases and never really do anything. Here's the problem. I bet that this feature is still not gonna encourage players to bring their pets with them because it's as easy as this for your dog to die. Yeah, here's the thing. Wolf armor doesn't really help that much in making your wolves survive much of anything. Sure, they give them more protection, but what I'm trying to say is I don't think that this feature really actually properly caters to the player base that wants to have a pet that they can bring with them at all times without, you know, worrying about them dying super easily. And I think that's kind of a missed opportunity. They kind of only exist to make wolves look pretty. Funnily enough, I have come up with an actual fix to this exact problem before the armadillo was even announced, and it's the Ploppier. Because see, I admitted mentioning it, it's not just punches that Ploppiers resist, it's just about anything. Yeah, I'm trying to crit them out with a netherite sword, that won't do anything. How about harming potions? No, lava maybe? Nope. You might be able to survive lava and netherite swords, but can you survive this? I am still falling down. Oh! Where is he? Wait, did it kill him? Where'd the Ploppier go? Hold up, maybe this will work. Oh! It's still alive! Oh my god! How did it survive that? Alright, you might be able to survive a normal vanilla explosion, but can you survive a modded explosion? Basically, in my last video, I showcased this new TNT type called TNTenium. Basically, it gets stronger the longer it falls. It gets bigger and bigger and starts smoking more and more. And people have always wondered, like, what happens if you just let it keep on falling for, like, the longest time ever? Does it just build up to a nuke? Well, we're gonna test it out on the Ploppier. All right, so for scale, this is how powerful it gets. Right? Let's see if the Ploppier can survive that. All right, test fire number 1. Good luck, Ploppier. Not even a dent. All right, you might be wondering, okay, sure, like this is like really cool. It can survive just about anything, but isn't that a bit overpowered? And I mean, yeah, I agree. It kind of is. So I did come up with a way to get rid of its invulnerability, and it's actually shears. Now the Ploppier can die like any normal Minecraft mob. The reason why Ploppiers no longer become invincible when you shear them is because they're actually inspired off of tardigrades, or water bears as some might call it, which basically have been studied to be invincible to just about anything. Okay, pause. Something crazy just happened. So I was reading through this article about, you know, how tardigrades can survive like really high temperatures and really low temperatures, extremely high atmospheric pressure, right? They're kind of crazy. But I was scrolling a bit further down and I stumbled across this. They compare tardigrades to tiny little armadillos. this has got to be a joke. This is some universal fourth wall breaking joke. How did they know? Do you see the result? How? And you can actually regenerate this outer layer by feeding them forest flowers, and they gain it back. Now they're invincible again. Yippee. Oh yeah, and since they're an end mob, obviously, they don't like water. You might have noticed that when you shear a plopper, they drop a new item called the plopper pulp, which totally isn't another thing that you could add to the list of coincidences between the plopper and the armadillo, but you can actually use these to craft a new block called the pulp block. And it has quite a few interesting properties. Like, you can walk through it, but arrows cannot. They cannot travel through the pulp because it works kind of like a non-Newtonian liquid. When you go through it really fast, it's super slow. But the slower you go through it, the easier it is to pass through. That can be used for cool stuff like entering crawl mode really easily by just sprinting in the pulp block. So you can kind of make these tunnels super easily by just having pulp block at the entrance, and then boom, you can now enter crawl mode, which is really cool. But pulp blocks can also be placed mid-air, which has a lot of possibilities when it comes to building. Let me give you an example. So let's say, you know, you're bridging in the end dimension, and very often, you know, you're crossing over these big gaps of void, and you can accidentally slip and fall. And usually the best way to try to save yourself is like trying to do that, use an ender pearl. But a lot of the time you just end up hitting the side of the island, and you know, what if I were to tell you that because of the pulp blocks, you know, mechanics, you know, being able to place them in midair, what you can do is when you're bridging, and let's say, whoops, I fell, boom. You've just saved yourself. Isn't that, it's awesome. This is basically the equivalent of like water bucket clutching, but in the end dimension. And it's really fun to do. It kind of leaves behind a mess, but I mean, if you want to save your life, I think it's pretty worth it. I think anybody playing with this mod is just gonna end up doing this for fun now, which I can't blame them. Now, the plopper pulp itself actually has even more uses than just the block itself, like brewing a whole new potion type called applicative potions. They're inspired by Noida, and instead of using a timer, they actually track for how long you've been walking, or like how many blocks you've traveled, right? So if you stand still, it doesn't go down, which is awesome. This was entirely 8's idea, by the way. It's really cool. Oh, and if you thought this video was clickbait, I have another coincidence for you between the plopper and the armadillo. Both of them had an ugly phase, and guess what? The plopper used to have black dot eyes, just like the armadillo, which is kind of funny. But, I mean, Mojang, clearly you want to hire me, but I know you guys are shy, so my DMs are always open if you want to talk or mingle. Anyways, the mod's name is Endless Abyss, and it's available on my Ko-Fi. I have another video on it that you can watch about the Titanium Dunes biome. If you enjoyed this video, you're probably gonna like that one too. It's more high effort than this one. Thanks for watching. Did I really try to hit on a video game company?